Hello everybody, it's the World Child Protection Hub, and I'm Jay from Michigan.
You know why I pulled you over? Yeah, let's get it over with.
Hey, everybody. Yep, 2 minutes late. Don't sue me. I hope everybody is well. Let's get this thing kicked off here. Get ourselves a little intro.
In the shadows that prey on the innocent, who want them take the light. We must be vigilant. Teachers, preach, parents, if you wear a mask, kids without face. It's the baddest open wide. It's a daunting task. Our eyes must open wide. We need to see the signs. Together we can fight and protect the younger minds. Raise your voice and don't back down. This epidemic's all around. Check devices, learn the signs. Stronger laws to save our kind. Behind closed doors, evil plans unfold. We gotta step up and be bold. Not just one, but it's a global fight. Turn the darkness into light. We can't ignore it any longer. Together we are stronger. Raise your voice and don't back down. This epidemic's all around. Check devices, learn the signs. Stronger laws to save our kind. Awareness is the key we hold. We must be brave, we must be bold. For every child, let's make a stand and save them with a helping hand. Raise your voice and don't back down. This epidemic's all around. Check devices, learn the signs. Stronger laws to save our kind.
The most publicly known child predator is billionaire Jeffrey Epstein. The children that he was using, reportedly ages 12 to 14 years old.
She was beautiful. She was young. She was innocent.
These children come from our families. That's where it impacts America. His connection with international political figures, financial figures, and industry made him a threat to them.
She was the greatest piece of ass I ever had.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, you available?
Yeah, I got two girls, sorry, Kelsey and Carrie, both 13, both real fresh.
How much is two girls for a half hour?
Two girls for a half hour would normally be $200. I'll do it for $150.
Well, if I had a half hour with one girl, then half hour with the other girl, and then maybe the two of them together.
Wow.
And I've had them all over the world.
You know, when you think of prison, you get pictures in your mind of all those old movies with rows and rows of guys behind bars. But it wasn't like that.
Welcome to Club Fed. It's the newest address for the rich.
A $100,000 a night private cell, gourmet meals served daily, and personal maids at your service. These are just a few ways billionaires live behind bars.
You are a product, and you have no other value.
Well, what an intro, hey? We're going to move right on to the next one.
Started, dating this guy. He was a police officer in our community.
That badge means something.
At the time, I was 15 when this started, and he was 21.
Don't any of you disgrace it.
He kind of presented the idea to me of, you're going to have sex with these people, and they'll give me money and we'll split it. This is a business opportunity.
The sheriff's deputy is heading to prison for more than a decade after being sentenced this afternoon for sexually abusing underage girls.
I ended up, trying drugs with a friend.
One mistake is one too many.
And I realized, how much I liked it.
We got to nip it! Nip it in the bud!
And so I started using drugs, and eventually it was I needed the drugs enough that I was kind of yeah, you're okay, I'll do it.
In Greenville County, 2 men are charged following deputies reporting to find more than 25 pounds of drugs and thousands of pills. Just last week, deputies searched an apartment on Carolina Point Parkway. That's where they say they found more than 9 pounds of cocaine, more than 3 pounds of meth, and more than 5,000 fentanyl pills. Well, deputies also seized more than $90,000, a gun, and a vehicle. Tonight, Rodney Carter Jr. is facing multiple weapons charges and multiple drug trafficking charges. Meanwhile, Tavarius Henderson Smith is charged with 1 count of trafficking cocaine.
Hey, just want to say a quick hello to everybody out there. David, Joe, Kamala, Ray, CWS. Who else we got up in here? Sammy Joe, Sean, David. That might be it for now. Not quite sure. And whatever lurkers we got off to the side. Anyways, I hope you guys are enjoying this so far. And shut up, Ray. All right, guys, let's keep it rolling.
A lot of my clients, my biggest client was a church pastor of a megachurch. They were other law enforcement officers, firefighters, lawyers, doctors, pastors. I mean, there is no profession that doesn't do this.
No, you have no right to go rummaging through my past.
You got the keys, you got it,
It's open.
These proceedings are here to see that justice is done. And justice is, as any reasonable person would tell you, the finding of the truth.
I wonder if I might have a sip of that. Yes, of course. Well, I'll tell you what, kids.
You have a history. This is your 3rd parish in 5 years.
Call the
Why?
pastor. Ask him why I left. It's perfectly innocent.
I'm not calling the pastor.
Now, I'm a good priest.
Go after another child. I had another child until you...
When I first heard of sex trafficking, I thought what I think most people think,
And that's about the little girls in Thailand or someone in a foreign country or that very occasional person who is kidnapped and taken outside the country.
And Renton police shut down a child sex trafficking operation, arresting 7 people that we just mentioned.
Yeah, so one of those suspects is a former assistant principal at Seattle Public Schools. Fox 13's Frankie Thompson has been gathering details about this sting and the charges those suspects are now facing.
Detectives say Alex Diaz-Rios was employed with Seattle Public Schools when he was arrested in this child sex trafficking scheme. Prosecutors say he is now charged with prostitution. Renton police say one of the other 7 suspects arrested was previously convicted for raping a child.
The goal of this operation was to arrest men who are trying to purchase sex from a minor.
Taking down suspected predators accused of intending to harm the most vulnerable population, children.
There are real kids out there being victimized every day.
Renton police body camera video captures the arrest of 7 men as part of the department's undercover investigation using text messaging and social media platforms to target people on the demand side seeking prostitution.
And so for the overall investigation, we start with that dialogue. We make it very clear multiple times that the person is speaking to a minor, whether they're 13, 14, or 15-year-old male or female. And then that dialogue leads to what we call an offer and agreement, where some exchange for a service, for a monetary value or good, could develop probable cause.
Detectives say one of the suspects caught in their child sex trafficking sting is 42-year-old Joseph Hoffel. Body cam video shows his arrest on September 26th.
Mr. Hoffel already had a rape of a child conviction and a rape conviction.
As part of the sting, sometimes the detectives posing as children will convince the suspects to meet somewhere, ultimately leading to their arrest.
But we don't always have people show up. We will oftentimes develop probable cause and then follow up later, identify that person, and then arrest them on a later date.
That's how officials say Assistant Principal Alex Diaz-Rios was caught. Detectives explain Diaz was soliciting sex from a 15-year-old boy, though Diaz did not go through with the sex crime.
Our evidence started with dialogue, didn't get to the point where we had enough to show that a minor was involved. But a solicitation and offer and agreement was involved to develop the evidence for probable cause to make an arrest for misdemeanor crime.
Seattle Public Schools says upon learning of the charges, SPS acted swiftly to place the individual on leave on Wednesday, November 13th. He has resigned and will not be returning to SPS.
It's been estimated at any one time in King County that there are 300 kids that are being sex trafficked.
Detectives say the rate of children trafficked for sex is 27% higher than the adult population. Other suspects arrested in this operation are now charged on several counts, including commercial sexual abuse of a minor and communication with a minor for immoral purposes.
One that brought a gun and methamphetamine, who was also arrested for attempted commercial sexual abuse of a minor.
The police department says their work is far from over stopping this crime, but at least the 7 people targeted will face consequences for their alleged intentions against children.
These are the people that we're attracting, the worst criminals in our community.
As for Diaz-Rios, SPS says it's working with the state's Office of Professional Practices to review his licensure. For 3 of the suspects, Renton police say those investigations are still active. Prosecutors say 4 suspects total have been charged so far. In the newsroom, Frankie Thompson, Fox 13 News.
The first time that I found out that sex trafficking was happening here in the United States and it was happening in this area, I think I was almost in just a little bit of disbelief. I didn't want to really think that it was happening because I think most people don't understand what it really is.
Well, tonight we have the dash cam video that shows how an Ohio State highway trooper saved a human trafficking victim during a traffic stop.
She looks like she could be under 18. She can't identify herself. He's 35. I say that's good enough to hold for an investigation.
The trooper had stopped this car near Toledo and noticed the passenger was a young girl without any identification riding with an older man. Troopers determined she was being taken to Chicago from New Jersey, where she was reported as missing. Tonight, that man is in jail, charged with abduction.
I think my daughter's story is probably atypical.
She was not raised in a home where drug use was acceptable. She was not raised in a home where parents partied. She was not raised in a home without adult supervision. She grew up in church. I still to this day can't understand how she went from my daughter that went to church to working in a brothel and being a heroin addict. When you have people that are addicted to drugs, they wind up doing things to maintain their drug use. They become very, very easy prey for sex traffickers.
Only on Fox tonight, a major drug bust in Houston at a high-end apartment near the Galleria. At least 4 people arrested, including a city firefighter. Fox 26's Matthew Cedar first broke this story exclusively at 6 o'clock tonight and is live now in the newsroom with what he's uncovered. Matthew.
Marijuana, mushrooms, Xanax, and a whole bunch of meth pills. Just some of the drugs police found leading to this bust, and now one firefighter is in jail. A high-end luxury apartment near Houston's Galleria, the latest location for a major drug bust.
And all of a sudden the SWAT team shows up with like giant guns coming into the lobby, and I didn't know what was going on.
Harris County Sheriff's Office, HPD, they conducted a joint buy-bust investigation into the manufacturing of pressed counterfeit pills.
At least 4 people arrested Thursday for narcotics charges, including Houston firefighter Edwin Gutierrez.
Yes, ma'am.
The firefighter in court Friday listening to the judge.
The defendant had been identified to be one of the runners who would pick up the pills where they were manufactured and deliver them to people.
New images shared with Fox 26 show the drugs and guns seized by authorities. Almost 3 kilos of pressed meth pills, more than 860 grams of Xanax, 61 grams of ecstasy, marijuana, mushrooms, along with about $37,000 cash, 17 firearms, and 2 cars.
This employee's actions, of course, they don't represent the character and the values of nearly 4,000 of our employees.
Houston Fire Chief Sam Pena speaking with us about the allegations involving the firefighter.
These are very serious charges, and if true, will result in termination of a firefighter.
This bust, one of 3 we've reported on in the last month, resulting in the arrest of at least a dozen people. Fentanyl, pill press machines, fake Xanax pills, coke, ecstasy, and stolen guns, all taken off the streets. The Houston firefighter is now on leave as this case plays out. His bond tonight is set at $180,000.
Just goes to show you, you never know who's doing this, where they're doing it from. You know, the most elite people in the whole world are probably sex traffickers. You never know.
We're live in the newsroom. Matthew Cedar, Fox 26 News.
A nationwide operation led by the FBI rescued more than 200 victims of sex trafficking, including more than 50 underage victims. They also found another 50 children who'd been reported missing. The initiative, dubbed Operation Cross Country, also led to the arrest of 6 alleged human traffickers. The annual operation is in its 13th year and showcases the partnership between federal and local law enforcement agencies across the nation.
I'm going to stop it right there for a quick second because I was reading some articles. Operation Cross Country has been an ongoing operation for the last several years. And believe it or not, the number of people that they catch is almost the same, if not less, every year, showing just how much more it's growing and how more elusive that it really is.
All in an effort to track down trafficking victims. Joining us now to talk about the initiative is News Nation national security analyst and former CIA officer Tracy Walder. Hey, Tracy, good morning.
Good morning, Brooke.
So again, as we said, this operation is an annual one, a difficult one, no doubt. What goes into the investigation side of this?
So as you mentioned before, the really critical piece is the joining of local law enforcement as well as federal law enforcement, because the reality is, yes, many of this trafficking is occurring online, and the FBI has a vast amount of resources to help with that. But local law enforcement is on the ground, and they have contact with these human assets and are able to then share that information and pass it to the federal law enforcement. So really what it starts with are contacts on the ground. From there, it goes to the FBI, as well as the FBI using the assistance for the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children. They are also critical in this effort as well because of the funding that they have.
Yeah, I think in listening to the details about this case, more than 100 children in just this one operation. Again, it happens every year. And there's a need for this to continue happening every year, which is just so alarming. How do these young kids even get in this position in the first place?
It's really unfortunate. About 300,000 children are trafficked every year across the world, quite frankly. And the United States only accounts for about 5.1% of those children that are trafficked. And really, a lot of these children, some of them do come from marginalized communities, but others do not. And what's really important about operations like this that have gone on for nearly 2 decades is, yes, it's obviously critical that we are taking these people off of the streets and reuniting these children back with their families, but we're also raising public awareness and providing a victim-centered approach to these children to give them the tools that they need to heal from what they have been through, which is horrific.
Yeah, we've been playing some clips, too, from the recent box office smash hit, Sound of Freedom. It's really brought the issue of human trafficking into the spotlight. Do you think that, people are really talking about this more?
It's interesting. Yes and no. What seems to follow a lot of these large scale operations when we're taking down these large human trafficking rings or child trafficking rings is we start to see members of the community who are very much ingrained in the community or popular within the community are sometimes arrested as a result of these things. A lot of times you'll see these operations and then in very quick succession, you'll see members of the community being arrested. And that is really starting to garner public attention towards this issue. And so I'm hoping as a result, things will change. But it's the public awareness around this that I think is so critical.
And do you think that we're doing enough to prevent this from happening in the first place?
Yes and no. I think from a law enforcement perspective, yes, I think operations like Operation Cross Country are obviously critical in taking down these criminals. But what I think the FBI has done more of, I was at the FBI when this first started, is this victim-centered approach that I talked about before. They bring in the FBI's Victim Services Division, and they do forensic interviews that do not traumatize these children any farther and provide them with services to help them and not recreate this cycle. And so I think that is the critical piece that was perhaps missing in the inception of this program that's there now.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.
There is no need for supply if there is no demand.
People charged in connection with the kidnapping and rape of a Long Island teenager entered pleas in court this afternoon. A Long Island teenager reported missing by her parents on January 9th. She was reunited with her family 25 days later. Well, authorities say the young girl was sex trafficked on a boat during her disappearance. An attorney for one of the defendants says that the girl told her client that she was 19.
He advises me that he was under the impression that she was, in fact, 19 years old, which is not an unreasonable belief when the complainant has facial piercings, a lip piercing, a nose piercing. She has tattoos throughout her body, on her forearm, on her chest, on her leg. In New York State, the legal age to get tattoos is 18 years old.
The 9 defendants face a total of 72 counts with child sex trafficking, kidnapping, and rape being the most serious charges.
50 million people in modern slavery. In fact, there are more slaves today than any other time in history. And out of that, 6.3 million would be women and girls in prostitution who are forced into that.
71% of victims are pretty much women and children. Out of 71%, 25% are children. That means that 29% are men. So almost 1/3. In this way, we kind of push men behind, like they're disposable. 70% are women and children. Oh, wow, that's a lot. But 30% are men. So it's almost equal.
Well, I started focusing on the issue of human trafficking years ago. And during the time that I was there, for the first 25 years, it was all about women and children. You have a lot of people who say, okay, that's what we really need to deal with. And so men have kind of been left out of the formula for a long time. Out of the forced prostitution, I think it's about 15% of them would men.
What about those stats? What do you guys think? 30%. So that's a third. So out of your women and children, the rest are men. Something a lot of people don't even think about. That's insane.
Shake your wee-wee.
Tripping off a double shot of whiskey. Lightweight. Of course, he is a teenager. Yeah, kiss this. There are hundreds of To Catch a Predator style groups of ordinary people out there. There are thousands of people involved in it, all around the world. In the States, Canada, other places in the Americas, really getting big in Europe, UK, and Poland especially, Australia. They are catching these predators. One of the best I've ever seen, in my opinion, is from Long Beach. Long Beach, California. Right by the City of Angels. This man goes out and finds the little devils. He uses decoys. He's very, very good at what he does. He plays good cop, bad cop with the people. He gets them after he meets them when they're expecting to go meet a young teenager. He gets them to stop. He gets them to talk. He gets them to open up. He uses investigator techniques to get them to admit on camera what he already has in texts, building a stronger case. He's also smart enough to know what not to ask so it doesn't ruin the case and give the defense something they can use. He is very good, and his name is Big Bad Wolf. Go check him out. You will really like what you see.
Thousands of people have seen videos of Landon Johnson posing to be underage while meeting up with targeted suspects.
Oh, so it's okay for me to message you to meet a fictional boy? There's a lot of things going on down here, and there's a lot of creepy people down here who prey on young children, and it's happening a lot, and there's a lot of sex offenders, and I try to catch these people and try my best to get them off of the street to make it safer for our next generation.
This after meeting grown men on online dating apps and having explicit conversations.
I'll just sit there on the dating app, and there will be like 5 to 10 of them a day who will just text me.
He says he repeatedly gives the men chances to back down.
I'm 15 years old, is that a problem? And 9 times out of 10, they say no, it's not a problem. They'll just end up asking me like, do you maybe want to come over to my house sometime? or do something or meet up somewhere.
These are some of the weapons police seized during a raid of the Rainbow Bright Daycare Center on Westmore Boulevard. They include a loaded handgun found under a blanket, allegedly within easy reach of children. This one of 6 locations in South San Francisco, Daly City, and Pacifica. Sites where Attorney General Javier Becerra says Joshua, Noel, Gerlin, and Carlina Gamos engaged in human trafficking, rape, and labor exploitation.
Now everybody knows that this channel is here protect children in each and every way. But our main 2 things that we do is awareness of this happening, awareness of how this is happening and how it is done. And part 2, the most important part, recovery. These people are not victims. These people are survivors. They survived what happened to them. There are many, many, many still in the dark who will not admit it. They're too embarrassed or whatever. Maybe they went to somebody in their family and they were told to hush up, not embarrass the family. Whatever it is, they're still in the dark. They don't trust anybody. One of the main problems we have is there's not enough places or programs for recovery of these people out there. It is starting to get better. It is starting to get much better. In this video, you have seen some phone numbers and some places that will help you. But we need more. We need more recovery. We need more places and programs where people can go and talk to other people that have had this happen.